You will come through doorways that you didn't even know were there. See something unbelievable. But you have to believe it because it's right there in front of your eyes.
What you want to give her something bigger than you?
Some movies catch me in a bad mood. This is one. A calmer, more rational me would say there is nothing special about Slumber Party Alien Abduction. But current at the moment me is screaming it from the mountaintops, there is nothing special about Slumber Party Alien Abduction! I don't want to do this, I don't want to pretend to give a damn, I just want to get this shit over with so I can go back to staring at the ceiling of my room and wait to be in a better mood. I'd tell you more about it, but you already get the synopsis in the title. Slumber Party Alien Abduction! There's nothing more to it, there's no story to be told, no themes to be explored, no reason to give a shit, and yet... this is the movie Shudder turned into a feature-length film. Let's just watch this piece of shit already.
Come taste the flesh of our slaughtered beast, earth creature.
Joke about expecting better effects here. This is, I don't know, fucking Gary and Randy, played by Ryland Logan and Cohen King. Even their parents make fun of them.
Put that dog down, Rattlebox.
And I think they had them when they were 15. Parents don't matter, they're going away as soon as we see them. Can't have a slumber party where the kids fight off alien invasions if the parents are home. What do you think we're trying to be, a horror movie? And of course we can't have a slumber party without a bullhead boyfriend coming over.
She's in her room studying. She's in her fucking room. Did you say she was in her room? Yeah. Oh, perfect.
I was gonna say who do matter, but I'm not sure any of them matter. Also, big ass house by a lake. You know what a big ass house by a lake means? Jetty party with daddy's beer. And you know what that means? Surprise splash attacks! With a bit of pee for good measure.
Fuck off, you don't feel my dick.
This movie was written by futurists. There is no other explanation. If there is one thing, that leads to a second thing, which means there is a third thing, and that confirms the fourth thing. Fuck off! For example, about a quarter of the way in, there should be a hint at the threat, so that would come about... Okay, making the grey amphibian seems like a creative decision, but I'm convinced they only did that because the calculations said this is the time we are supposed to see them. The kids could have been playing in mud and swatted some away and found them staring up at them. Which would have been more terrifying! And this leads to... Okay, I admit it, I am stumped how we got here. The camera cuts away, suddenly one of the kids is in a dog cage and the others are silly stringing him. It's not even the teens, it's the other kids. This pattern of random pranks carries on, with the kids remaining unwanted pests the teens just have to deal with. And number theory says we need a stronger hint of danger now. No explanation forthcoming, no questions raised, may as well have not happened at all. The movie just wants to assure the audience, I promise there are aliens coming. Not sure I appreciate being told that but with you using a mallet to smack me in the head, but... the wait better be worth it. For a final interim, we learn that Randy will grow up to be a flasher. Zack and Jen mount the camera on the dog Tank, and they catch Randy having a moment surrounded by sleeping kids.
You'll ruin my life. Please.
Honestly, I think he just gave him an idea for what to do next time he's home alone with the dog. Thankfully we never find out, because it's time for the aliens to charge in and they look... Joke about expecting better effects here. In a small twist, writer and director Jason Eisner did make the aliens somewhat ghostly, able to manifest through thin air and descend upon the mindless bodies en masse. Plus doing the puppets in a sack thing with Gary and Tank dragging the sleeping bag into the water and watch them nearly drown was actually a pretty solid horrific moment. Unfortunately, it's ruined when the kid somehow breaks free and yet almost drowns before they can get away.
Come on, Gary!
Yeah, I really believe she's actually giving him CPR. Listen, if the actors don't want to do it, this is the point where you record it from a different camera angle. A thing you might notice watching the video is the influence the McPherson tapes clearly did have on this film. Not just in the design of the aliens, but they also use lights, fog, sound and rapid camera movements to give the impression of a spacecraft appearing and disappearing around them. But unlike the McPherson tape, they didn't put in the effort to build a model of a spaceship, and it's embarrassingly obvious all the spotlights are on the scaffolding. Patterns say it's been a bit rambunctious for a while now, so let's try for tense. Really tense scene. Could not see where it was going at all. This would be about the time we have a moment of hope in the form of police sirens. But this would also be the time hope is taken away. I'll say Eisner and John Davis were trying to be a bit creative here. I didn't see the cops coming. But on the other hand, it was a bit convenient, and so far the aliens have been all lights and sounds, so the cops showing up as lights and sounds, it wasn't really surprising. It's about time we wrap this up though, so Jen and Gary try to hide in a barn. I suppose the desperation and hopelessness would make this a tragic scene, like a rabbit trying to hide in a hangar, but I have no concern for these wandering etch-a-sketches of characters, including the dog. In my defense, since the aliens showed up, the dog was played by a plush toy. Now I want to know how the hell this became a feature film. I don't like this short even a little bit. Not because it's offensively bad, but because it's so generic and unremarkable. It gives me no reason to care about the humans. It doesn't even give me a reason to care about the dog. I think using the dog for a cameraman actually made me care less because he was on screen so little. Also, I wasn't even a little bit intimidated by the aliens. Squared between their zombie-like movement, randomly accessed powers, generic appearance and flashbang fireworks on style of spaceship, I very genuinely think a haunted house ride would have been more frightening. I suppose that's what the movie reminds me the most of. A haunted house ride. Unconvincing creature effects veiled behind smoke and mirrors make for a thrilled ride for an audience strapped to their seat by the random will and motion of a dog. But the ride didn't begin until halfway through, and most of the time the characters carried the dog anyway, so nothing unique or all that interesting was done with the idea. On that note, I wouldn't mind seeing a 360 camera strapped to a police dog during a raid at a werewolf hangout or something. Anything more interesting than the junky strobe effect. Slumber Party Alien Abduction is an uninteresting, forgettable slog that I advise all not terminally bored to skip past. It is an idea with some potential, which I suppose Shudder execs picked up on, but were my money, I would have left it in the show and tell fair where I found it. Now, if you excuse me, I have to pitch that 360 camera police dog thing idea to Shudder.